Hi, this is Holly with Presence Point, and today we begin a three-part series on Psalm 91. I have notes all over the margins of my Bible, footnotes, all sorts of things written down there. And in the Bible I carry most often, right above Psalm 91, I have written the protection psalm. And it just seems like in the last few weeks we've needed that a lot, maybe even the last few months, right? Political unrest, there's troops at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. in the U.S. The pandemic still is looming over us. And I keep going back to Psalm 91, and I love what I found there. Let me read to you today verses 1 through 4 in the New Living Translation. Those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This I declare about the Lord. He alone is my refuge, my place of safety. He is my God, and I trust him. For he will rescue you from every trap and protect you from deadly disease. He will cover you with his feathers. He will shelter you with his wings. His faithful promises are your armor and protection. You know, it's not clear who the psalmist is for Psalm 91, but many believe it to be Moses. And I love the picture of Moses writing this because if you think about Moses' life, think about how many times he knew how faithful God was and how many times God protected him and the Israelites. He saw it over and over again in 40 years in the wilderness, wandering around waiting for the promised land. But what I love about this passage also is what Warren Wiersbe talks about in his Bible commentary. He says that this portion of this psalm talks of faith in God or the hidden life. And you might think, Holly, the hidden life is not a good thing. I mean, people who have secret things going on, that's not good. But in this case, it's a great thing because the hidden life, meaning the hidden life we have with our Father, the communion and the worship we have with him, that's what allows us to live the public life. Without the hidden life being in right accord with the Father, we can't live the public life of obedience and service and really of sacrifice as a shepherd leader. You know, in Matthew and Luke, in both of those books, we find Jesus talking about being a believer, almost the picture of salvation as chicks coming under a mother hen's wing. Just recently, we have wild turkeys on our property here, and just recently I saw a bunch of little poults who were scared by something running to their mama, and her big wings, because those turkey wings are so much bigger than a chicken or a hen, right? Came around those poults, and they just immediately felt protected and safe. The protection psalm, right? Psalm 91. It was like that in a picture. What I've learned as I've studied this psalm is there are in these 4 verses, in the Hebrew, there are 4 words used for God, 4 different words. Let me share those with you. The first one is Elyon, or the Most High, meaning that God, Elyon, is above all kings, all presidents, and anything that's happening on the earth, as well as above all the false gods that we tend to worship. He's also called Shaddai, or Almighty. You know, in English, Almighty is spelled A-L-M-I-G-H-T-Y, but I often spell it A-L-L in all caps, M-I-G-H-T-Y, just to remind me that he is in fact mighty over all, that he is sufficient for every situation. And then we see him called Jehovah, or Lord, the God who's faithful to his promises. And just think how much it makes sense that if Moses wrote this psalm, he saw his faithfulness over and over again. And then he's called Elohim, this powerful God whose greatness and glory really surpass anything that we can imagine. And when I learned that and when I read that, I thought, oh my goodness, can you believe, Holly, that God, the Elyon, the Shaddai, the Jehovah, the Elohim wants to be in relationship and in communion with you? That he wants to spend time with you? And shepherd leader, can you believe that's what he wants for you? And the fact is he knows that without that hidden life with him, without that communion, that worship, that conversation, that listening, the time in his word, without that with him, there's no way we'd be able to obey him and serve and sacrifice like we must. He shelters us, Wiersbe reminds us, but he also gives us what we need for the battle, that protection, that armor that we hear about from Paul in Ephesians 6. Here's how Wiersbe closes out this passage, his comments. The message is clear. Those who abide in the Lord are safe when they're doing his will. Meaning whenever we're doing what he wants us to do, we will be safe. Now, safe may not mean easy. Safe may not look safe like the world thinks safe. Safe may not even look like what we think to be safe, but we're under his wings. He's got it, no matter what it is, pandemic, political unrest, social media posts that aggravate, whatever it is, he's got it. And he is still in control. So I hope you'll join me in the next two pieces of this series on Psalm 91, and that this will help you as an under-shepherd live deeply into your calling as mother and father and board member and CEO and business owner and supervisor, manager, pastor, teacher, coach, because the reality is we have to have a good hidden life with the Father to have a good public life that serves and sacrifices and obeys him. May you live deeply into your calling this week. We appreciate you watching. Take care.